Good morning, class. Today we are going to discuss our next topic in the Indian Constitution, that is what different fundamental rights. We'll talk about different rights that is enshrined in the Indian Constitution. Fundamental rights. Part 3 of the Indian Constitution deals with the fundamental rights such as right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. We will going to discuss about each these rights in detailed way in upcoming classes. During our freedom struggle, the leaders of the freedom movement had realized the importance of rights and movement and demanded that the British rulers should respect rights of people. The Motilal Nehru Committee had demanded a Bill of Rights as far back as in 1928. So during colonial time only, the Indian leaders had recognized the importance of rights, and they asked from the British government to keep in mind the security and respect of rights of people. So it was therefore a natural when India became independent and the constitution was being prepared, there were no two options on the inclusion and protection of rights in the constitution. The constitution listed the rights that would be specially protected and called them as fundamental rights. As already discussed, that fundamental rights is in the third part of the Indian Constitution. Now let us understand the meaning of the word fundamental. The word fundamental suggests that these rights are so important that the Constitution has separately listed them and made special provisions for their protection. The fundamental rights are so important that the Constitution itself ensures that they are not violated by the government. Means the word fundamental rights give the assurance to the people that in any case the rights cannot be violated by anybody except some special cases are there. But if other than that anyone tries to violate your right, you have full right to approach to court. Now there are some different rights are also there in our constitution that are called ordinary rights. Now what is the difference between fundamental rights and ordinary rights? Fundamental rights are different from other rights available to us, as ordinary legal rights are protected and enforced by ordinary law, but fundamental rights protected and guaranteed by Constitution of India. Then ordinary right may changed by legislature by ordinary process of lawmaking, but fundamental rights may be only changed by amending the Constitution itself. Besides this, no organ of the government can act in a manner that violates them. As we will study, judiciary has the power and the responsibility to protect the fundamental rights from violation by actions of the government. Executive as well as legislative actions can be declared illegal by judiciary if these violate the fundamental rights or restrict them in an unreasonable manner. However, fundamental rights are absolute or unlimited rights. Government can put reasonable restriction on the exercise of our rights. Now, we will going to discuss first fundamental right to equality. Now consider two situations. They are imaginary situations, but similar things do happen and can happen. What do you think, they involve violation of fundamental rights or not? First, Swadesh Kumar is visiting his village. He is accompanied by one of his friends. They decided to have a cup of tea at the village roadside hotel. The shopkeeper knew Swadesh Kumar but asked the name of his friend to know his caste. After this, the shopkeeper served tea Swadesh in a nice mug, while his friend was given tea in an earthen cup because he was Dalit. Second case, an order is served to 4 newsreader of a television channel that they would no longer read the news on screen. They all are women. The reason given that they are above the age of 45. 2 male newsreader above the same age are not barred from presenting the news. So we think these are the violation on the basis of caste or on the basis of gender? Of course. That's why Constitution included the fundamental right, that is right to equality. Now right to equality include equality before law and equal protection of laws, prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth, that is equal access to shops, hotels, wells, tanks, bathing huts, roads, etc. Equal or equality of opportunity in public employment, and abolition of untouchability and abolition of titles. We will discuss about each of them. So the example that we have discussed are a clear vision of discrimination. In the first instance, the discrimination is based on caste and other is based on gender. So do you think that this discrimination is justified? Of course not. That's why Article 14 of the Indian Constitution talked about right to equality. It is the core article under right to equality. Article 14 states that the state shall not deny to any person equality before the law or the equal protection of laws within the territory of India, that is, no one is above the law. So now under this we have two things: equality before law, that is absence of any privileges, and equal protection of law, that is equality of treatment is equal circumstances, that is like should be treated alike. That right to equality tries to do away with such and other discrimination. It provides for equal access to public places like shops, hotels, places of entertainment, wells, bathing huts, and places of worship. There cannot be any discrimination in this access on the ground only of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. And it also prohibits any discrimination in public employment on any of the above mentioned basis. This right is very important because our society did not practice equal access in the past. Yes, we have the example like the society was divided into 4 varnas and their work is divided and the lower caste is used to exploited by the people. That's why right to equality plays an important role. And if we're talking about equal protection of law, it means being a common citizen or being having political status or high economic standard doesn't matter to all. Your social, political, economic status will be keep side and everyone within the territory of India have equal protection of law. Have you read the preamble to our constitution? How does it describe equality? You will find that the preamble mentions two things about equality, that equality of status and equality of opportunity. So equality of opportunity means that all sections of the society enjoy equal opportunities, but in a society where there are various kinds of social inequalities, what does equal opportunity mean? The constitution clarifies that the government can implement special schemes and measures for improving the condition of certain section of society, children, women, and socially and educationally backward classes. And you may heard about the word reservation in jobs and in admissions. You'll have wondered why there are reservations if we follow the principle of equality. But when you will read the Article 16 subpart 4 of the Constitution, it clarifies that a policy like reservation will not be seen as a violation of right to equality. If you see the spirit of the Constitution, this is required for the fulfillment of the right to equality of opportunity. So true that if you are talking about equality of opportunity, so what about those people, those who are economically, educationally, socially backward? Who will going to help them? So to bring them to the mainstream of the society, this is required, and hence this is not a violation of right to equality. The practice of untouchability is one of the crudest manifestation of inequality. This has been abolished from the right to equality. The same right also provides that states shall confer no title on a person except those who excel themselves in military or academic field. Thus, right to equality strives to make India true democracy by ensuring a sense of equality of dignity and status among all its citizens. So Article 17 of the Indian Constitution talks about that untouchability is abolished and its practice is forbidden in any form. The enforcement of any disability arising out of untouchability shall be an offence punishable in accordance with the law. As discussed in the previous slide also, Article 18, abolition of titles. Article 18 says that no title not being a military or academic distinction shall be conferred by the state. No citizen of India shall accept any title from any foreign state. The awards Bharat Ratna, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan and Padma Shri, called as the national awards, could not amount to title within the meaning of Article 18, that is mentioned in subpart 18(1), that on the basis of titles also people should not be discriminated as it was used to happen in the past. Now based on today's class, there are some assignment questions, but before that let us recapitulate what we have discussed. We have discussed about the fundamental rights, the importance of the word fundamental. The word fundamental itself suggests that the rights are so important that Constitution has listed them separately and made special provisions for their protection. And then we discussed about the difference between ordinary and fundamental rights, and then we talked about our first right, fundamental right, that is right to equality. Under that, we have discussed about equality before law and equal protection of laws, that everyone have equal right to access everything and no one can be discriminated on any basis, be it caste, gender, sex, place of birth, race, religion, anything. Then we have talked about prohibition of discrimination on the grounds of religion, caste, sex or place of birth, then equality of opportunity in public employment, that everyone should get equal opportunity to be part in public employment and admission, and to bring the backward educationally, socially people, we have a concept of reservation, and that is not a violation of right to equality because that is required to fulfill the concept of equality of opportunity. Then Article 17, that abolition of titles is talked about, and then Article 18, abolition of titles. So on the basis of today's class, here are some assignment questions. First, what is the difference between ordinary rights and fundamental rights? Which Indian committee demanded bills of right in 1982? Which article constitutes right to equality and what are those articles? In which part fundamental right is mentioned and what does the word fundamental denotes? So thank you class and have a nice day ahead.